Have you ever noticed this about yourself? You see an incoming call, your phone starts ringing, and immediately, your mind says, I'll call back later. It's not that you hate the person. It's not that you're busy every time. Sometimes, you're doing nothing at all. Yet somehow, answering a phone call feels like too much. If you relate to this, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not rude, lazy, or antisocial. This behavior has a clear psychological explanation. What's really happening? Most people think avoiding phone calls means you're shy, you lack confidence, you don't like people. Avoiding phone calls is often a sign of mental processing overload, emotional self-regulation, preference for control and predictability. In today's world, phone calls demand instant emotional availability, and not every mind is built for that. Why calls feel uncomfortable? Let's break this down simply. A phone call is different from a text in three major ways. 1. It's immediate. You can't pause. You can't think. You can't delay your response. 2. It's emotionally live. Tone, pauses, reactions, everything is happening in real time. 3. It's unstructured. You don't know. How long will it last? What the topic will be? What emotional energy it will require? For many people, that uncertainty is mentally tiring. People who avoid phone calls often have high internal dialogue. Their mind is already busy, thinking, planning, reflecting, observing. A phone call interrupts that internal flow. Psychologically, the brain experiences this as, I'm being pulled out of my mental space. So the resistance isn't against the person. It's against the mental interruption. Cognitive load. Cognitive load means how much your brain is processing at one time. Phone calls increase cognitive load because you must listen, interpret tone, respond instantly, regulate emotion. Texts reduce cognitive load because you read at your pace, you reply when ready, you control your words. So if your brain values clarity and control, it will naturally prefer texts over calls. Loss of control. Phone calls remove choice. You can't edit your words, reframe your emotions, delay your reaction. For people who think deeply before speaking, this feels unsafe. This isn't anxiety. This is self-regulation. Your mind is saying, I want to respond properly, not instantly. Emotional boundaries. Every conversation carries emotional energy. Some calls are light. Some are draining. Some require emotional support. When you answer a call, you are unknowingly saying, I'm emotionally available right now. People who protect their energy carefully often avoid phone calls. Not out of fear, but awareness. Think about this situation. You're relaxed, maybe listening to music, maybe doing nothing important. Your phone rings. Suddenly, your breathing changes. Your attention shifts. Your mind prepares for engagement. Even before answering, energy is spent. That's why many people let the call ring, then text. Hey, what's up? That text restores control. Psychology also adapts to environment. We love constant notifications, continuous information, social expectations. Your brain naturally seeks low-effort communication. Texting allows connection without overload. So avoiding calls isn't a flaw. It's adaptation. Very important point. Many people who avoid phone calls enjoy deep conversations, are good listeners, communicate better in person. They don't avoid connection. They avoid unstructured interruption. That's a big difference. Sometimes the problem isn't the call. It's what your mind imagines before the call. Your brain asks, will this turn into a long talk? Will I have to explain myself? Will it drain me? This anticipation itself creates fatigue. So the safest option feels like avoidance. Texting allows emotional distance, thoughtful responses, clear boundaries. Psychologically, this creates emotional safety. And emotional safety is a basic human need. Research shows people who reflect a lot, think deeply, value peace, often prefer communication on their own terms. They don't want constant access. They want intentional connection. Notice this carefully. You usually don't avoid calls from people who feel safe, conversations with clear purpose, those who respect boundaries. So again, the issue isn't the phone. It's emotional unpredictability. Society labels silence as rude, delay as disinterest, boundaries as coldness. But psychology says different nervous systems need different communication styles. There is no universal right way. Avoiding phone calls does not mean you lack confidence. You have poor social skills. You dislike people. It means you process internally. You value mental space. You communicate intentionally. Healthy avoidance. Choosing when to engage. Protecting energy. Communicating later. Unhealthy avoidance. Fear-based isolation. Complete withdrawal. Most people who avoid calls are in the healthy category. Simple explanation. I communicate better through messages. I reply properly that way. No justification needed. Psychological health includes self-respect. Preferring texts over calls doesn't mean you're distant. It means your mind values clarity. Your energy is selective. Your communication is intentional. That's not a weakness. That's awareness. If you avoid phone calls, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It simply means your mind chooses peace over pressure. And that's a psychological strength, not a flaw.